Oh, oh, okay, okay. Are you doing the intro again this week?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the True Health Forever podcast, where we try to live the best life through the lens of
Holistic
holistic health.
elves. Whoa, that's a whole new customer segment right there. We over
You
here
didn't
rocking.
hear about the new holistic elves?
No,
No.
well, it is Christmas time.
Oh,
I see what you
all
did
on
there.
purpose.
It
All on
is
purpose.
about to be the holiday season. We are hoping that the elves, right, that are hard at work, that are traveling all around the world, delivering happiness to children all around the world. We hope that they are holistic and they are healthy.
We do. We do.
All right,
That's
you can
what I
continue. What
meant
is
by that.
it's a manifestation of how this whole episode is about to go today. I'll let you know that right now.
Oh, my name is Sinclair, aka
The
the Health Nerd, and I'm here, as usual,
Yes,
with my handsome,
we're gonna do this every time now.
chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
positive,
Ooh,
glowing,
glowing,
galactic
husband.
husband, God, little G,
Mm.
here right now. Who are you?
Listen, I love it when you do the intro. This is what you feel like every time. I'm telling y'all, we're going to switch this whole thing up. But what's going on, y'all? Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. I was feeling not too good. Now I feel, I don't know, see the words. Words feel good. The affirmations, the eye contact, the touching. But before this, I was telling Jay, I was like, yeah, my energy, my frequency is like, right? It's not high, it's not low, but it's just like a normal human being, like meh, right?
Meh.
Like meh. But yeah, feeling pretty good, feeling pretty godly, little G, and ready to get into the episode today. Now, I want to preface this, y'all, because we did promise y'all Queen Anne on this episode. Unfortunately, and I can take the L. I'll take the responsibility because it's my responsibility to host people, to bring people in. So no matter what it is, it always lands on me. Scheduling, she'll be here next week. All right. But you were ready ahead of time. You were ready a week before she got here. But come back next week. She's really gonna be here in person and talk to you about music, mind, and well-being.
From across the pond.
Yes, this is gonna be our first international guest. Yes, okay. First international. I had to double check because we did have a international artist on Black Wall Street, the board game masterpiece, also from London. Shout out to Chai Brand. But yeah, it's gonna be our first international guest. Happy about that. But we're gonna have her on next week. So this week gives us time to talk about a few things. One, I definitely want to talk about the process of freeing the queen and maybe just going through your own mental journey of what it was like to make that decision, and then maybe what your journey's like now that you're building out your brand, building out your business. Because we alluded to it, or we said it last week on the Great Resignation. But yeah, I would like some more time just really talking about your mentality for other people that may be thinking about making that decision as well. We can also talk a little bit about under construction, the concept that we started last year, and how we're going to kind of redo it, remix it again for this year. Then, of course, we'll end it with some general updates on how things are going. Queen, anything you want to sprinkle to that agenda for today's episode?
Sounds powerful.
Sounds powerful. All right. But when you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Queen, are you ready?
Are you ready for some podcast?
All right, we're out. Oh yes. Come on.
Hey,
Jamon Lee. Jamon. Oh, that movie just always reminds me of Chris Tucker in Rush Hour. Yeah. I asked my little sister the other day. I was like, "Have y'all seen Rush Hour?" Tyona said no, and then Sophia was like, "I don't know." I was like, "What?
You don't know?
Y'all haven't seen? This is a classic." And there was something that happened. I was like, oh, that was in rush hour. They're like, what's rush hour? I was like, oh Lord.
Did that make you
Am
feel
I
old?
Yes, Sinclair. It did. Things that you just assume people know because of your generation, because of how you grew up, that the younger kids just don't know. It's like, oh, I'm old now.
Yeah.
I'm in a different, I'm 2 generations removed.
They probably looked at each other like, what's
going on? Right? Like, what Prince? Like, what? You don't listen to Prince? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff that your parents used to say. Anyway, Queen.
Is this the episode?
This is not. No, I'm not gonna punish people that much. But so you are now stepping fully into entrepreneurship. So for those that maybe don't know, for those who maybe this is their first episode listening, can you talk about what lane are you stepping into as an entrepreneur, and then maybe what are like 1 or 2 things that you had to really conquer to make this step, to make this decision?
Yeah. Lane I'm going into. So yes, I, as of Friday, as of less than 48 hours ago, am no longer working the full-time job that I was working. So I am.
Wait a minute. You're not gonna skip past that. Like, you didn't just say that right there.
So yes, taking the dive into full-time entrepreneurship. Thank you, Jair. Full-time entrepreneurship. And so for me, that's going to be my primary lane that I'm jumping into is health coaching. That's something that I've been talking about for years. Finally kind of officially dove into a couple of months ago. Got my first couple of clients. We are on and popping. But yeah, really looking to take that full time and just get a whole Rolodex of people that I am helping live their best life. Whether that's losing weight, whether that's getting more energy, balancing those hormones. All of that stuff is what I'm really trying to be able to help folks do full time, because I just realized that, and this is like the journey that we've been going on. And if y'all don't know, like we don't just get on this podcast and talk about stuff and then like not live it. Right. Like this is really just an extension of our lives. So everything, it's been very interesting for me. When talking about like spiritual health and things like that, finding your passion and your purpose, like we've been doing that. You've watched us do that on this podcast for the past couple of years. If you've been listening, if not, go back. We're on, what is this, episode 86?
This is 86.
Yeah. So we've been doing this for 86 episodes. So at some point, I learned that helping folks reach their health goals gave me a level of fulfillment that I really had never experienced before. Like and it started with like friends and family. That's how this whole business started. It started with like, hey, have you heard of intermittent fasting? I created this plan, here, test it out for me. And then like a couple months later, got a text from one of my friends like, oh, hey, by the way, like I'm still doing intermittent fasting and it's really working for me. Like, thank you for bringing this to me. And I was just like, oh, thanks. You're welcome. Like, oh, that felt good. I've helped a lot of people indirectly through the King and his coworkers and people that, he's very good at marketing me.
Yes, I am.
So it'll be like, oh, by the way, I just had somebody ask for your smoothie book, or hey, we have someone to test out a recipe. Like, okay, cool. Had someone come to him and come to me, when I finally followed up with them. Oh yeah, I lost like 25 pounds, using your smoothie ebook. Like that type of stuff makes me,
appreciate you, Jay.
Yes, feel very good. And not in a like I need credit for it or anything like that. It's just like, wow, I had a small part in helping somebody live their best life. Because imagine like because I think what I think about is, what can they now accomplish that they weren't able to before? Right? Whether it's like, for some people, it's that confidence of like, I'm not really in front of the camera, but maybe you get more confident, you lose some weight, you have that energy, and now you're able to do the things that you weren't able to do before or didn't feel comfortable doing before. So the fact that I had even just a small part in helping you do that just makes me feel like I'm doing something on this earth. Right. And not that I didn't feel that with, my full-time job, but it not to this level. It wasn't like I got to hear the difference that I'm making. So yeah, that was in a nutshell, kind of what I'm diving into. I don't remember like what the initial question was, but that's what I'm diving into. The other thing you asked was,
what are some things that you had to overcome, whether it's thought process, whether it's culture, tradition, like things that you had to overcome to make this leap? Because I feel like there are a lot of people that do want to make the leap, me included. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make that leap too. There's tons of people that we know that are trying to make that leap, but whether it's strategy, planning, self-doubt, family doubt, like self-sabotage, like there's tons of things that I think hold people back from making leaps in health, in business, in relationships. So for you in entrepreneurship, can you talk about what were those things that were holding you back?
Yeah. So the two things that I want to touch on are, one, the self-doubt and money. Because I think that those are the biggest things that held me back, whether physically or just as a superficial barrier. So the first thing is self-doubt. I think having dreams and aspirations is easy. Having them is easy, right?
Debatable, but yes, I will, for the sake of this argument, go ahead and let you have that.
Not everybody has them, but I mean, right, for the folks who have them, like it's not hard for you to dream, is it?
Gosh, no.
That's what I mean. No. Like for folks who dream and have aspirations, that part is not hard. The hard part is acting on them and actually making them come true. And I think that, like, yeah, so envisioning, right, me being a health coach, helping all of these people, that's not hard. I do that all the time. But to actually put it into action and to believe that I can do it has been probably the hardest part. Because it's once you have got kind of really comfortable in a full-time job, if it's not what you want to do, I'm speaking to that person, right? If you love your full-time job and you're fulfilled, I'm not necessarily, that wasn't me. Right. That's not you. Right. But if you have that full-time job that doesn't necessarily pour into the cup like you want it to, and it doesn't feed your soul as much, it can be, I don't know. It's like you get comfortable. And we've talked about this, I think maybe the last podcast, but you get comfortable doing something that you're not passionate about. Sure. Right? But that comfort is still there and you get good at it. Right? And it's like, okay, with not too much effort, right, I can do enough to get by and get this paycheck every 2 weeks. Thanks. Right? And it's like, again, if you're like me, like you do more than just get by, right? You excel.
Right? You become great.
You become great at doing something that you're not that passionate about. And that is at first a very comfortable place to be. Because again, you kind of just go through the motions. But after a while, that starts to tug on you. When you start to think about what can I be doing? Right? That's the first step, is you start to have the what ifs. Well, what if I could make this much money and like what I'm doing and be getting those texts and emails about, oh, thank you, I've done this, I've done that, and like, so that's kind of what started it, is, well, what if I could do this and really feel fulfilled and happy and wake up like, I get to help people get healthy today. Right? So that was the start of it. But again, there's still that doubt of like, but I am making a good amount of money here, and like I got my own office, and again, it's my paycheck is consistent, right? I don't have to work clockwork. Right, clockwork. I don't have to work harder to get more money or anything like that. It's like I just got to show up and do what I do and get this paycheck. That's a very hard mindset to leave to making the jump to entrepreneurship, where it's really based on your effort, and not even effort, execution, right? Of what you say you're going to do, that is going to bring the income in. That's a very different mindset shift. Right. And I think that part, being a high C, so in the DISC assessment, I'm a high C, which C stands for cautious. So like this was very difficult for me, because again, the cautious person is security is like the main thing, right? So to leave that secure place to go to the unknown of, okay, well, now I've got to really dig into what I'm going to do to get more clients so that I can make this be a living, like make a living off of this.